Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanovsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path in a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third installment of the Career Guru podcast. I am your all knowing, all sensing, all loving career guru, coming to you live from the BCI studios. I'd like to introduce my two guests today. They're very special guests that I have today who also happen to serve in the dual capacity as my daughters. My oldest daughter, Miriam, and my youngest daughter, Sara. They have very, very compelling stories to tell, which I'd love to share with you with their assistance. And so, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you my daughters, Miriam and Sara. Say hello.
Hello.
Well, that was
It's a
Miriam.
pleasure to be on with you today.
A pleasure to be on with who?
With you, the career guru.
That's more like it. That's more like it. So, I'd like to be called by my official title in this place. I am the career guru. And where's Sara?
Here. Hello.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well, and so I'm going to set the stage to make sure that people understand why it is that you're here today. Well, I'm going to throw you under the bus, and I'm going to say that both of my daughters are high school dropouts. I did
That
my
is the truth.
I did my best. I did my best. And so both of my daughters, as if by some divine command, dropped out of high school at the end of their junior year. But that did not stop them from accomplishing things and achieving success. So I'd like to start with you, Miriam, if possible. Um, Walk me through what happened after you decided to leave high school and what it is that you decided to do first before you embarked on your journey to achieve your career success. And we'll talk about your career in just a minute, but talk your way through for us, please, what happened right after your junior year ended.
Well, my junior year ended, and it hit me pretty quickly that I thought I was just done with high school. I just didn't really think that there was anything left for me in high school anymore. So I wanted to see what else in the world there was. What can I do with my life? And immediately just decided, hey, you know what? Let's go to BCI. Let's start my career off. Let's do something good, something that will actually make me some money. It's not a very long program. I could do it over the summer, and let's just try that. And so I started, and I became a medical assistant at BCI first. It took me about half of the summer to do. And all the while, I was also taking prerequisite courses in college at the same time. Northeastern University, I was taking some night school classes at the same time. I went to some classes at Boston University. And once I was done with that, I started applying to nursing school and started going to nursing school in the fall, actually.
Okay.
The fall of actually next year, of the following year.
We did miss a little step, though. I'd like to take us back a little bit that after junior year, even BCI wouldn't necessarily take you on as a student until you got your high school
GED.
equivalency. So I just want to go back to that a little bit and make sure that people understand how important that step was. And how
Oh,
did you prepare
absolutely.
for that? And what did you do? How did you manage that? Tell us about it.
Well, I was actually a little nervous about the GED. I didn't really know what to expect, but I got myself a book, the big book of everything that you're going to need to know for the GED test, and went section by section. And I believe it had 5 different sections to study. There was the math, the science, the language arts, the history, and one section at a time I went and studied all of this stuff. And each test was actually, there was 5 different tests, and you would have to study for each test separately and take them separately. So once I studied a particular section, I took the corresponding test. And I actually did that summer. So the summer after finishing junior year, I actually went right away into GED, and that took me like a summer to do.
So, if I understand you correctly, you did it by yourself. You just bought a book, followed the guidance in the book, and then when you were finished with the book, you applied for one of these tests for HiSET or GED, whatever they call these things nowadays, high school equivalency. And then you went and you passed. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yep,
Okay.
that was all.
All right. How about you, Sarah? How did you do? You did about the same thing. You also decided not to pursue your high school diploma in the school that you were attending. And after grade 11, you gave your father an ultimatum and your mother a heart attack. And you said, I'm not going back to school. So, did you fish out a big book somewhere too and did the high school equivalency on your own as well?
I did. I purchased a very big textbook with all the information that you needed to know to pass the GED exam. And I scheduled 2 tests at a time and passed all of them. There were 4 tests, and I took 2 tests at a time and passed them all.
Was it hard to study? Would you say that just about anyone can do it, or are you something special like that, and that you were able to absorb the book and just pass the test?
Um, I think that it is definitely something everybody can do. It is not an easy thing. If you're studying on your own, like I did with a book, and without a teacher or any assistance of any kind, it is very difficult to really organize yourself and sit yourself down and say, I have to study and I have to complete all of this. But if you push yourself hard enough, anybody can do it. I'm not the greatest studier myself, but I think if I was able to do it, anybody is really able to do it. It's
Okay,
pretty
all
simple.
right, that's good. So you were able to knock that out of the way pretty quickly. And what was the biggest motivating factor for you? Was it threats from your father, or was it something that you felt that you needed to do so you could move forward with your life?
Um, Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe a little bit of both. The pressure from people around me was definitely very good, very motivating. But I also did put a lot of pressure on myself and knew that this was something that I needed to get out of the way very quickly and knock out. And it wasn't really a choice because there isn't much you can do without a high school diploma or diploma equivalent. So I knew that I had to get it done. And that was a very, very big motivator to just make me sit down and study and finish everything.
All right, great. Miriam, you were also self-motivated to do this, right? What was the biggest force behind making sure that you stayed focused on your GED?
Well, I will say this much. As much as I was a high school dropout, I didn't really think about myself that way. I always wanted to go to a graduation. I always wanted to accomplish something in life. And like I said, I didn't really want to waste a lot of time, which is why I went to BCI pretty quickly after getting my GED test. But as far as motivation, I knew that I wanted to go to college. I knew that I wanted to graduate, and I knew I wanted to be somebody. So the quicker and the faster I can get this out of the way, the sooner I'll be able to jump onto the track and further my education and move closer to my career. So I picked up the book as soon as I came back from my summer program, and I just started to study and made sure that I got it done fast so that I can move forward in life. And yeah, like Sarah said, it is not the easiest thing in the world if you're not the most motivated, or if you're not able to, educate yourself in a sense. If you're not good at learning without a teacher's instruction, it's not the easiest. But I do think that depending on how you learn, you can always adjust the way that you teach yourself, and that's the beauty of taking a GED test or a high set diploma. You have to find what works for you and do it, and you'll actually learn something about yourself in the process. So I think, yeah, it wasn't easy, but I did it pretty quickly, I must say. So yeah, I think anyone can do it if they set their mind to it, for sure.
So it was your drive to succeed further, that you wanted to accomplish things. Let's say that high school may not have been the most optimal environment and you made a choice. I like what you said about not looking at yourself as a high school dropout. Um, I like the fact that you looked at that this is more of a finishing high school early, should I say. So instead of failure, we look at this as a success. Very good, very good. I appreciate that, and that's how I saw it too. I did see in real time that both of you um, uh, made a great leap into this unknown, and you were able to take this big book and without any further assistance from me or anyone else for that matter, move forward and complete this important task. Without this, there all the doors remain closed into a professional setting, and that is something for everyone to understand. All right. Well, so you selected medical assisting when you went to BCI. Tell me a little bit about the training that you received, how you interacted with your instructors and your classmates, and how did you, whether you enjoyed the education and the skills that you acquired.
Absolutely. So, medical assisting, I felt like was a great step for me because my goal, my dream since I was a young girl was to go to nursing school. So, I thought that what better way to get into the medical field than by taking a course that was integral in the medical field, the medical assisting program. So, I started with that. I loved my classmates. I was the youngest one there. There was a lot of people that were much older than I was, and a lot of them kind of looked at me like, why are you here? Why don't you just go to college? And I was like, you know what? This is the greatest place. I'm going to start with here first. And so my teachers were amazing. The best part of this program in general that I loved was that it was so hands on, that it wasn't sitting and learning from a textbook like you're used to all of your life. In college, too, you know, you're sitting there at a desk most of the day. You come home and you're studying from a book all day long. But at BCI or in general, I'm not really sure how other programs do it, but this was an amazing program because yes, there was some textbook learning that you did have to do, but most of it was hands-on skills. Most of it was learning just by doing. And that to me was amazing. So I would go and I would actually practice all the things that I was taught. So we were learning things like how to take vital signs like blood pressure, uh, heart rate, respiratory rate, temperatures, all of that. We learned how to take EKGs. We learned how to give all sorts of injections, how to draw blood, phlebotomy. And by the end of the program, I felt like I was pretty competent in all of those skills. And I can only thank my instructors for that because they were phenomenal. Not only that, but I also learned some billing and coding, which has actually come in handy later on in my life, as it turns out. Um, and yeah, I very much enjoyed my program. I enjoyed being able to practice my skills in real time and leave that program feeling like I can actually do this in the real world. That was unique, I felt like. And you know what? It actually did give me a little bit of a head up in nursing school because, believe it or not, in nursing school, they don't teach you how to draw blood. And even though nurses in general, their main job in the hospitals, or not main, but one of their jobs is to put in IVs, for some reason, this is not taught in nursing school at all. So everyone's standing there asking me, you know, how do you know how to do this? And I'm like, I went to medical assisting school and I learned how to draw blood. And they're like, well, is that similar to putting in IVs? Yeah, it's pretty similar. And that sort of gave me that head up that I needed. And I actually felt like I had more experience than some of my classmates did in the field, which was amazing.
Great,
So
great. Let's hold the thought about the nursing school. We'll come to that in just a moment. Now, Sarah, your turn. Now, you chose a slightly different path than your sister. After completing your GED, you thought about which way you're going to go. Nursing was not the thing for you, but you enjoyed visiting a dentist's office. So you decided to join the dental assistant program after completing your high school equivalency. Tell me how it went for you. How did you do in dental assisting? What do you think about dental assisting now that you are fully finished with the program? Whether it's everything that you thought it may be. So tell us about how the program went for you, what you learned, and whether you got to practice some of the stuff. Go ahead, take it away.
All right. So I very, very, very much enjoyed the dental assisting program. For many of the same reasons why Miriam enjoyed the medical assisting program. It was very hands-on, and you practiced a lot of things on your classmates, and it was just an incredible experience to do that. It was a little bit scary in the beginning. I have never done anything like this before, and I was a little nervous getting into it. However, the teacher, Miss Gomez, was absolutely incredible, and she really, really guided you through everything you needed to do. And I learned a lot, things that I I never knew that I'd be able to do. I never thought I'd be able to do things like taking an X-ray, impressions, making a temporary crown, cementing crowns, etc. Um, she really walked you through it and helped you, and um, it was very good. I learned a lot, and I very much enjoyed it.
You mentioned things like temporary crowns and so on and so forth. What about dental x-rays? You did that too?
Yes,
How was that?
it was good. It seems a little bit complicated in the first, like in the beginning. But the more you practice, the easier it gets. And as you go through your internship and you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, it gets easier and easier. So it's a little bit intimidating in the beginning, but once you practice it, which you get the opportunity to do several times, it becomes so simple, so easy.
Very good. What is your long-term plan for dentistry? I know today is a happy day for you. You got yourself your certificate from BCI. Your next step will be to apply for a professional license. You will actually have a professional license, which is a big deal, which will allow you to practice dental assisting in Massachusetts. So you'll be able to apply with that certificate to the state to get that particular credential, which is a big deal. Without this credential, you can't work in a dental office or make the money that dental assistants make today, which are pretty extraordinary, if I do say so myself. So, what is your plan for the future?
So my plan for the future is to, first of all, just continue in the dental assisting field just for the very beginning. And I think while I'm working as an assistant, I would like to go to school and learn to practice hygiene.
So, dental hygiene, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so dental hygiene will take you about 2 years worth of education. You can go to a 4 year program, but you can also do this in 2 years. And so you can expect when you finish that particular program, and ready for this, stand by everyone. Dental hygienists make between $45 and $55 an hour straight out of school in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, if you're listening to us in Massachusetts. Uh, Everything differs state by state, but here in the Northeast region, dental hygienists make a good amount of money, and their job is extremely satisfying and wonderful. They bring a lot of good to the people. Um, you feel wonderful when you leave the hygienist. Not that your teeth are clean, but you feel great about yourself. So that's wonderful. Miriam, back to you. So now Sarah is 18 years old and she's already getting this done. And her hope in the next few years to finalize the dental hygiene licensure. We're looking forward to your success. Now, you mentioned earlier that you always wanted to be a nurse, a registered nurse. Um, and you mentioned to us that you already went to nursing school. So you became a dental assistant, and at the same time, while you were in dental assisting school, you also managed to take some prerequisites at Northeastern University. Tell us a little bit about the prerequisites that you had to take, why you chose Northeastern, because I know you and I went to a community college first, but decided against going there and went to Northeastern University to get your prerequisites. Talk us through your journey through admissions into nursing school and then your studies in the program and then passing the exam?
All right. Well, medical assisting, like I said, did not take very long. It took me about the summer. And like you said, all the while I was doing some prerequisite classes in Northeastern and some in BU. So Northeastern and Boston University, and actually most colleges these days have night school programs, which to me was useful because that meant that I could do things during the day, like go to school, and at night go to a class or two. And I think it was twice a week. The classes that I took for prerequisites were anatomy and physiology with a lab and a basic algebra class. That is what I took. So algebra actually was all online, and I chose it for that reason because that gave me the freedom to do most of this from home. And anatomy and physiology was on campus, and like I said, it was during the night, so I would go to class at like 8 o'clock and come home at around 9:30, and it was amazing. I chose Northeastern just for that reason because I didn't need to sign up for an entire program. I just could sign up for a class or two in the evenings, sort of mold it to my schedule, and go from there. So once I finished my two prerequisite classes, I applied to nursing school. And yes, as you said, we did, in fact, look at different places to go to nursing school. We started off with a community college. We looked at Bunker Hill, if I don't remember correctly. There was Bunker Hill Community College. We went over there, and they were telling us, oh, it should take you around 4 to 5 years to complete an RN degree. And I was like, why? And you end up with an associate's degree too. It wasn't like you ended up with a bachelor's. You were required to take like 1,000 prerequisites on top of your nursing classes, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And not to mention, it cost a fortune to go there for no reason at all. So we decided to look elsewhere, and we found a private college called Bay State College. They have not many programs. They have like 6 or 7 programs, not many. And one of them was nursing. We liked the fact that it was actually an accelerated program, so it takes an average of 2 years to complete a associate's degree in nursing. And we decided to go there, and they only required that you had a basic math and a basic science. And they also required you to take a test called the TEAS test. Don't remember what the TEAS stands for, TEAS. But it's like an entry exam, which I'm not going to lie to you, I had to take twice because the first time I clearly did not put enough effort into passing that test. But I took it a second time because I was determined to get into this school, and passed it the second time I did it.
Were there
Once I
prep
passed,
materials? Were there prep materials available to you for TEAS test?
yep. Yes, there are. So the biggest mistake that I made the first time was I actually got a knockoff brand version of the book to study. I got like, the book, English for Dummies or something like that. I got the same thing, but for the TEAS test, figuring, oh, it's going to give me all the basic things that I need, and I'm just going to do that. Turns out I was wrong because I sat down at that test and I'm looking at the questions and I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing this in the study materials. And the second time I took that test, I actually spent the money, which, I spent the money and got myself the real book from actually ATI, which is the organization that runs the TEAS test and actually ran some of the nursing school program, as it turns out. ATI is what's responsible to helping you prep for the license exam for nursing called the NCLEX. So long story short, I bought their book, I bought their practice tests, and I studied everything in those books. I took all the practice tests, and I passed with flying colors the second test. And once I did that, I started the program. I began late August, early September of 2015, I believe.
Excellent. Excellent. Tell us a little bit about nursing school. How was that experience for you?
Oh, nursing school was hard. Nursing school was a commitment. I was 18 when I started, and I was the youngest one again in my program, which is bizarre because I'm looking nowadays and every single person I know that's, right out of college or right out of high school is going to nursing school, and it was totally normal. But for some reason in my program, everyone was in their like late 20s, early 30s, if not older. And it was much different than anything I've ever experienced. It was different from the prerequisite classes I took in college. The classes were nowhere near the same in terms of style. In terms of exams, they were completely different. The tests were so hard for me. Like, it took me a very long time to actually adjust to the nursing school program. And the teachers, for some reason, everybody had this mentality of like drill sergeant. You have to pass all of these tests or else you will never be a nurse. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, sure. And I thought that I was studying until I was blue in the face, and yet somehow I still managed to get low scores on my test, and I did not know why. It took me until like my second year of college to finally understand what I was doing wrong and to fix it. So if I were to give anybody advice for nursing school, it would be to find an older nursing student, somebody who's been around the block a couple of times, and ask them their secrets, because they will tell you something. They will give you advice, because going in, even from other college programs, any of them, it's not the same as nursing school. It's just different. The way that they have their tests is different. So it took me a little bit more than 2 years in the end to take the NCLEX. It was like 2.5, not much longer, almost 3, I think. But once I did it, it was like, I'll tell you this. I had my dean of education come over to me one time and tell me, you know what? If you can't pass this, you're never going to be a nurse. I'm telling you right now, you don't have what it takes. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see about that. And I ended up graduating and passing the NCLEX. And I thought to myself, hey, you know what? That was just to show my dean that I could. And I did. So I was very proud of myself that day. But it was not easy. And the only thing that got me through the whole thing was just looking at my future and looking at what I wanted to do and looking at my goals. And being a nurse was my goal. That was it for me. That was it. So I pushed through, and nothing was going to stop me from finishing. And I kept on studying until I couldn't study anymore. And that was until after the NCLEX.
What would you say? Well, actually, I just want to recap what you said. You said find someone older, an older nurse who's been around, an older nursing student, and see if they can help you out. I want to put it in a slightly different term. Find yourself a mentor. And I'm going to add something to this. Make sure you have a solid support structure within the family, within your friends, within the group of people that you're with. Surround yourselves with people who will provide you support and guidance, and say, you can do it, you can do it. Don't be down on yourself. Get up and do it. Don't sweat it. Just get it done. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely. And be prepared to dedicate just about everything to nursing school.
Okay. In the end, was it worth it?
Absolutely.
So at the present time, you work for BCI as a clinical instructor, and you're working as a registered nurse.
I am.
Okay. You also have a family,
Do?
and you also can pull it off.
I think so. So
Okay.
far, so good.
Well, that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. Can it be done? And the answer, it seems to me, is yes. Should it be done? For all the people considering entering the healthcare field and considering nursing, what would be the motivation, from your standpoint, to be a nurse?
Well, as much as I would love to say it's the money, it's not the money. You make a good amount of money, and I think that's always important to note that if you're looking to get into a career, don't try to get into a career that's not going to make you any money, because if you want to support your family, you need to find something that will pay you. So money is definitely a factor, but to me, nursing was always a way to help people. To be a nurse means to be present during potentially somebody's hardest day of life. And it means that you have to be able to give somebody that comfort and to support them through that hard day. And that's what nursing is. It's holistic healing. It's not just looking at the person's diagnosis and thinking, oh, well, you have this, so I'm going to give you this medication. It's being there for the entire person. It's seeing the diagnosis and thinking, okay, well, how is that affecting this person? How is that person going to take that diagnosis emotionally? What other physical symptoms might they experience because of the medications that they were just put on? So all of this together means that the nurse needs to be able to, assess everything and care for that person. Also, all the while making sure that they are able to, maintain their own emotional health and not going overboard with empathy, because that is a very big case of burnout for nurses as well. Um, I personally love this job. I started off as a nurse in home care, and I took care of the elderly for a couple of years. And to me, it was a big, jump into the field, because home care is actually a specialty. And I got into that right out of school by some miracle. And I learned so much from that job. It was absolutely incredible. And my boss taught me everything that I know today. And she showed me how to be compassionate, as much as I knew that already. She showed me even more how to be compassionate without damaging yourself. And it was a big lesson to learn. And I carry that with me every day. And it's amazing. I love being a nurse. I love working as a nurse, and I actually love teaching as well. So I think it all comes full circle.
So now you're able to mentor all the people coming to BCI for medical assisting, that they can actually go ahead and do this and they can become a registered nurse. And in reality, without really disclosing what nurses make, but it's not an unfair statement to say that nurses make from start in Massachusetts close to $100,000, if not more, um, when necessary, without too much of a specialty. So making really good money is certainly within the reach for most people interested in healthcare. Very good. Well, let me switch to your sister for a second. Now, Sarah, you're 18 years old. Your plan is to return after your year of studies in college coming up, and you're planning to go to dental hygiene school. I'm going to tell you that dental hygiene school is very similar to what nursing school is. That drill sergeant mentality is built into everyone who is teaching in allied health programs. Allied health programs are programs having to do with nursing, medical imaging, dental hygiene, nuclear medicine, all these subspecialties of medicine which service people. They're built to be tough that way, because making a mistake in these environments sometimes may cost someone their life or limb, or just stress them out to beyond belief, them and their families. It's never just one person that gets hurt. So what would you say to people considering dentistry as their first step into career? Is it doable? Is it manageable? Is it rewarding? You've talked to some of the people in your class, how well they're doing. What were their experiences? Give us a little glimpse into that, and then I'll leave you alone. I promise.
I think that going into the dental field is very manageable. I think, first of all, starting off with dental assisting is a very, very good first step. It is very doable, very manageable, and my advice for people is just to be confident and not be afraid to take the leap and do it. While things may seem scary, and it may seem scary to think about working in a person's mouth and having to take an x-ray and use tools inside of a person's body. It might seem terrifying. Just not don't think about those kinds of things and just have complete and total confidence in yourself and think, I can do it, and just push yourself and go into the field. Don't be scared, and make sure to have a lot of support.
Well, very good. And don't be scared for several reasons. A, thousands of people before you did it. And B, you will have wonderful teachers, wonderful instructors who will hold your hand all the way, get you trained and prepared. And then you will go for your internship where you work with other professionals who will teach you. Sometimes a little tough love will go along the way with it, but within reason. And then you'll come out a pro. And then even after this rapid program in BCI, which will not take you more than 6 months to complete from start to finish. After that, you're able to command a fantastic salary of somewhere around $50,000 a year. That means that you'll be making around 25 bucks an hour after about 6 months in school and training hands-on. And today, in most cases, most of our dental assistants get hired out straight from their internship while they're still in their internship. Well, my dear friends, I think this brings us to a close. Any parting words of wisdom?
Be brave. That's my closing statement. I think that, I've seen so many different people in nursing school. One of my friends from school was in the military. She was a single mother. She had a full-time job and went to nursing school and pushed herself and made it and graduated with flying colors. So I think, and it was hard for me without any of those things. So all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, yes, it's hard, but if you have that goal, if you have something that you want to accomplish in your life, don't be afraid of failure. Go in and put everything that you have into this, and know that at the end of the day, your goal is a career, and your goal is to potentially take care of a family and make money to support them, or whatever your goal is in life. So just be brave and jump in head first. And if you need that support, make sure that you have it, but just concentrate on that goal.
Well, and there you have it, my dear friends. And this concludes the third installment of the Career Guru podcast. I wish you all much success. Find yourself a mentor, find yourself a guru. Well, you have one here in me, so you can always reach out. I'm here for you. I am the all knowing, all sensing, all loving career guru, bidding you farewell. Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I hope you do too. And I'm feeling grateful that we spent time together. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website at www.bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses in Brookline, Malden, and Lowell, Massachusetts. You can call our toll-free number at 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and/or other information about our podcast, email bcipodcast@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Podbay FM, and of course YouTube, or wherever you stream your podcasts. I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. All the best to you. My name is Sara Yanovsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. #Let's Career Up.